If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that sub button for more amazing content. Now, let's jump straight into the video. What's good, YouTube, and welcome back to the Bofina One podcast, and I'm your host, Bofina One, and as you guys can see from this title of the video, we're going to be talking about how car prices are expected to come down in 2023, and so we all know this is like a big thing that, people are talking about, cars, and, people want to buy cars. I mean, that's just human nature. People want the newest, latest, and greatest, etc., etc. And part of the problem right now is, we have inflation, right? So car prices themselves have went up, and at the same time, interest rates have went up. And I myself am, looking to get a new car here soon. More just like I just want to get something new, and it's hard, right? Like I honestly wish that I probably would have went on ahead and bought a car in like 2020. I think it was either 2019 or 2020 when dealers were pretty much giving cars like away. Like essentially you were paying just the principal. They were giving it for like 0% APR. And so it was great. But, at the time I wasn't really thinking about that, right? But like now, like in hindsight, it's like, man, I should just went on ahead and just, bought myself a car then, because now, you paying so much, and it's just so many different loops and hoops of stuff that you got to do now just to get a car. Like you might have to do outside financing and, because interest rates are so high. So I thought this would be a good article to just, go through, because I know a lot of people want to know about this. So let's jump straight into it. So Lee Summit, there are more new cars for sale on the lot of Bob Seitz Ford in Lee Summit, Missouri now than at just about any point over the past 2 years, which this is true. Because I have been going to different dealerships like BMW, Genesis, Audi, and there are more cars to actually see. I remember even just like in the summertime when I just kind of briefly started looking at cars, like not seriously, just kind of seeing, maybe what I like. You would go into the dealer and essentially you wouldn't be able to even find anything. Like they would say, oh, well, yeah, that car was just left. That car, someone just picked it up, or yeah, we're not gonna have another one in for like 3 months or 3 weeks. So it's like you were going into dealers just to test drive it, and you couldn't even test drive it. So in quotes, this morning we have over 40 new cars in stock that are available for sale. For the last 6 to 12 months, we've been sitting at 6, 8, 10 cars available, said General Manager Zachary Seitz. But prior to COVID and everything else that happened, we would have 200 cars in stock. Everything else that happened included computer chip shortage, breaks in manufacturing, and low employment numbers that all contributed to a low supply of new cars. All the while, demand for cars was going up, partly because interest rates were low during the pandemic, making it easier to borrow money in the form of a loan for a car. Exactly. And this is kind of what I was saying. Like during the pandemic, some places were giving like 0% APR, or like literally almost nothing to get a car. So essentially you were taking out a loan on a car, but you were literally just paying the principal. You didn't have to even pay interest. And so that's enticing for a lot of people, because that has a lot to do with your monthly, amount that you have to pay. If you have a high interest rate, and like even if you have good credit, but the interest rates are really high, you're paying, more on the car. So that makes your monthly payment higher. So that's why a lot of people are like, ooh, 0% APR. Hey, this is the best time. With low supply and high demand, prices for both new and used cars rose. In many cases, the value of used cars increased by 40%. It was a wild 18 to 24 months, to say the least, Seitz said. The Federal Reserve is raising interest rates, signaling it will do so again later this month. This means it's less favorable to get a loan, which should dampen demand for new cars, giving manufacturers time to catch up on supply and ultimately force prices back down. Over the past 2 months, Seitz said prices have started falling. In quotes, prices will continue to drop a little bit in general. I do believe we'll see more incentives like sales and discounts, I said. We just haven't had enough supply for the demand. So there has been a reason for the manufacturers to do some of those things. And we're already starting to see that now. Like if you've been kind of watching TV or looking at ads, or if you've been like me going to different dealers, you're starting to see like they're having incentives like, oh, we'll take off $1,000. Like I know I was looking at the Genesis G70. I went in like last weekend. They were saying they're going to take $1,000 off, and they said it was going to end in November. Now they're pushing it to January. They're starting to have different incentives because, like I said, the demand is starting to go down. People are not buying because, a car is considered like not a need. It's like it's a luxury if you think about it. You don't have to have a car. It's nice to have a car, but you don't have to have a car. So if gas prices are going up, food's going up, rent's going up, things that people in a sense need, right? That thing that's a want or something that you don't need, that starts to devalue. So then people are like, hey, interest rates are high, car prices are high, I'm going to just wait. if my car is not essentially just falling apart, I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to jump out and make a note for stuff. Because like a lot of people that bought cars like this year and like maybe even some last year, they overpaid for those cars because car prices are starting to go. I mean, look at Tesla. They're giving out like what, $3,000 or something like that. I think they said for if you order or take delivery between like end of December, right? So Tesla, like their stuff is going down. Like, I can order a Tesla right now and get it next month. Tesla before, you couldn't even get cars for like 3 to 6 months out, or at least 3 months out, right? Or have them delivered. So that's the point that I'm getting at, is that prices are starting to, not prices, but demand is starting to drop. And a lot of people bought cars at the high. Same thing with the housing market. People, I think, bought houses at the high end. So now they're paying for something and it's not really even worth that. And they can go refinance if the interest rates go down, but still it doesn't matter. If you bought your car, let's say you bought it at an all-time high and it's $45K, 2 years later, that car goes down to, let's say, I don't know, let's say it just drops 5,000. That may be kind of high, but let's just say 5,000. So now it's 40K. You overpaid 5K for the same car, and that car it's depreciating still at probably the same rate, if not higher, because the value of it has dropped in the next, few years. So yeah, JP Morgan predicts new car prices could drop by as much as 5% and used car sales could drop by as much as 20% in 2023. As interest rates continue to rise, manufacturers want to maintain demand. Site says Ford is offering promotions like a lower than standard interest rate on certain vehicles and ways to lock in a purchase with today's interest rate, even if the customer won't get the car today. Like ordering a new F-150, one of the promotions they have now is you can lock in the interest rate on what you can get now, no matter when the vehicle gets here, he said. It is taking longer to manufacture cars. You order a car, it could be 2 months or it could be 6 months, but now you can lock in your rates. And I think that's good too, because it's like, why should I have to wait to lock in a rate all the way until it gets here? If I gotta wait 6 months, we don't know what the world's gonna be like. I should be able to lock that rate in now, because a lot of these places, like I remember I went to BMW and looked at a couple cars. For them to manufacture that car, right, to have it, made and whatnot and shipped there, they want you to put a $2,000 like deposit. So if I got to put money down, I should be able to lock in a rate. It shouldn't be it's based on, when it gets here, that's when. No, you better lock the rate in now. That's not my problem, So now you're starting to see a shift. It's the same thing with the housing market, a lot of stuff. That's why I said if people are just patient, you're starting to see a shift in things. Stuff is going to start, coming down. And it's kind of like what they're saying. We're already in a like recession, but we're going to be probably going into a little bit more aggressive recession as, interest rates go up. But at the same time, if car prices go up and interest rates do go up, they kind of equal out. So like, that's why I said, like, if you're willing to wait to buy a car or whatever the case is, you can hold out a little bit longer. I feel like that's just me, not financial advice, but I feel like that's the best way to do it in this market. But if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.